this for yourself. Learn and study to show yourself approved to the Most High. Okay, also want to go into Isaiah 11. I made a video about this before, about Isaiah 11, where a lot of brothers and sisters are saying that Isaiah 11 is speaking of the Most High delivering people from there, like he's going to pick them up. Just like the Christian doctrine talk about being picked up in Babylon. That's not what Isaiah 11 is saying. When you read Isaiah 11 and 1, it's talking about Christ, right? I'm going to just read a little bit of it. It says, "And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Spirit of the Lord AHAYAH shall be upon him, and the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, and the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of AHAYAH. And shall make him quick understanding in the fear of AHAYAH, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears." Now, and this goes on, and it's clearly speaking about Christ. This Christ is the root of rest of Jesse that is spoken of in Isaiah 11 and 1. But when you go down, you keep reading down, and this is where a lot of brothers and sisters get confused. When you read down to Isaiah 11 and 10, it says, "And in that day," and usually every time it's talking about in that day, it's talking about towards the end times. You know, in that day, "there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious." Now this is talking about not speaking of Christ. Also, it's talking about the tribes of Israel, Judah and Israel. We are also from the root of Jesse. Now, you have to be able to understand that. The root of Jesse in 11 and 1 is speaking of Christ, because Christ is of our bloodline. But the root of Jesse spoken of in Isaiah 11 and 10 is speaking of Judah and Israel, our brothers and sisters today who left America, who are now sitting in Babylon. They are the root of Jesse that is standing as an ensign to the Gentiles. When our brothers and sisters started waking up and went into Egypt, the nations took attention. They know the prophecy of our people. They know we was in America in slave ship. They know that we are the tribe of Yehuda. They know who we are. And when we started making our way back into Egypt, into these Middle Eastern countries, these peoples take notice. Because for one, Judah and Israel is not really traveling, like especially Judah coming out of America. Those who are in captivity in America very rarely leave the plantation. It's like they have put a spell on us, and we would not travel outside of our captivity. So when we started coming and going into Egypt, it's an ensign to the Gentiles, and that's what the scripture is talking about. It's a prophecy that is being fulfilled before our eyes as brothers and sisters wake up and go into Egypt. Let me finish. So when you go down to, it says, and they rest shall be glorious. And that kind of precepts to when the Most High says he will bring us back into the wilderness and we will be rest. We will have rest and we will be at peace. That also goes into that. But when you read Isaiah 11:11, it says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again a second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt, from Pathros, from Cush, from Elam, from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the isles of the sea." Now, I really needed to ask brothers and sisters to go into this, because they try to say that this is locations that Christ will deliver people from. And the reason why they say that is because they're trying to lead people outside of the borders. Cush, which is Ethiopia, is not within the borders of the Most High. If you're sitting in Ethiopia, you are outside of the borders and you are prone for destruction. You're not under protection. Okay? And one of the main locations I want to bring out was Hamath. Hamath is talking about Syria, Damascus. Damascus is going to be destroyed, as we know, as we see it coming to pass. That is not going to be a place that Christ is going to pick anybody up from, because in the scriptures it said it's utterly destroyed. So them telling people that this is location that Christ will deliver you from is a lie, just because of that location alone. And if you understand and you study the scriptures, you'll know that the borders, most of those locations are outside of the borders, like Cush, Egypt, which is also Passos is a part of, Elam, which is a mystery, which brothers have not been able to come up with. But, I have my own idea of where Elam is, but, I'll go into it, that's another video. But either way, it's just letting you know that Hamath is not a place that Christ will come to, only because it's supposed to be utterly destroyed by scriptures. You can't get into Syria now, and most of the people are leaving Syria because of, this destruction that's going in. Actually, most of the Syrians are coming within the Holy Land borders. They're on the borders of Jordan and parts of Iraq right now. So they actually are coming into the land where the Most High said we will be protected within his borders. So actually, they're trying to send you outside of the borders when you actually should be coming inside. Jordan and Egypt are the lands that the Most High will, like when he says he'll, when you go up again and he says that he will retrieve the remnant a second time, that's actually talking about him bringing us across the Red Sea again. So you have to be in Egypt, within Goshen, just like the times of our forefathers. And some people will not have to necessarily go through that, blah, 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 blah. But some people won't necessarily have to go through that whole purging. We're all going to go through a certain purging through this, because the Most High is dealing with us in order for us to bring us through as a righteous nation. We are going to be purged and go through the fire and go through certain circumstances. But some people don't have to go to Egypt per se. Some people can come to Jordan. And there's a purging here as well, but it's not the same purging as you going through Egypt, walking across the desert, and coming through the Red Sea. That depends on you. But I'm just going to close with that, just give you guys some food for thought. I pray you go into these scriptures, and I'll try to put the map up and stuff, and I'll give my brother here some time to talk. I know I'm like blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry.
No,
Praise AHAYAH though. Thank you for letting me, go on and go on. Okay.